Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Vilodera, and on Solutions segment, we're taking over that conversation that Andrew Chamagero had with you on ground with Omuntuwa Wansi on the poverty levels in the country. And so let me give you the statistics. It is said that over 24% of the population in the country are actually living under $2 every single day. That's a big number. That means over 9 million people in the country cannot access basic needs on a day-to-day, kind of basis. And so how best can we eradicate poverty in the country? How best can we include the youth in the country and just give them something that they can do to earn a living on a day-to-day basis? In studios, I'm joined by economist Mr. Ramadan Gobi. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. Next to him is Mr. Patrick Sambaga, who is the country director of Send a Cow Initiative. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the unemployment rate in the country and, of course, the poverty levels in the country. Statistics show over 24% live in poverty, survive with under $2 every single day. And actually, $2 is quite a lot. Your take, sir? Mr. Ramadan, yes.
I think, first of all, that 24% is on the $1. In our country here, we are still using the national poverty line, which is $1. We have refused to go to the international standard. The World Bank now is on $1.9 as the poverty line. So I think if for you, boss, scaled it a bit to $1.9, the proportion of those who are below the poverty line would be a bit higher than what they found last year. And I think the challenge we have in this country is that although we have performed so well in reducing absolute poverty, because Uganda was among those countries that were recognized under the Millennium Development Goals for having reduced the poverty levels to about from 56% in the 90s to it had reduced to 19%, 19.7 a couple of years ago, but then it has increased back to around 20, 21%, 24%. And this increase was mainly caused by, of course, failure to plan very well for the people of Uganda, to leave them to the gifts of nature. Because whenever agriculture fails in Uganda, then you'll find that the poverty levels also increase, because people in Uganda mainly earning from agriculture. Right. And in the last couple of years, agriculture failed because of mainly the natural factors. We had a drought and so on. I'm sure if you boss went back like next year, they will find a different story. So we are likely to be in that kind of game that poverty in Uganda is reducing, because rain has come and people have grown a few things and they report they have food. But when it comes to incomes, it's very, very bad. It's down there in Uganda. Okay. You find that the average household income in Uganda is very, very low, 168,000 shillings a month on average. And we are talking of average, where even the inequality is high, meaning that there are some people who are so bad off who can't earn 100,000 shillings in a month. So it is something which definitely we have been talking about. We have been trying to have piecemeal interventions to address it. But the seriousness in terms of planning for holistic kind of programs
has been lacking.
Get to everybody is lacking.
Okay. We've been seeing quite a number of programs that the government has come up with, of course, to just address the issue of poverty in the country. And so we saw the Poverty Eradication Program, which was known as PERP, fail. The other one that also failed is the Entandikwa program that was basically for the startups in the country. That also failed. And so of recent, we have seen the latest operation, wealth creation under the army being established. You are, Mr. Sambaga, you are the country director of Send a Cow Initiative, and you people have been able to make this initiative a success for over 30 years now. What has been the trick, and what can the government learn from what you're doing?
Thank you. We believe it has a lot to do with our history, what motivates us. And what motivates us, our mandate, our core mandate is to work with the lowest earning people, to improve on their incomes, improve food security and nutrition. And as far as we are concerned, that is the entry point to eradicating poverty. A person who has no food, who has not eaten, who has missed meals, doesn't have the energy to go out and work. And if he has nothing to sell, then he has no income. Everybody needs something. They need to earn in order to work on their other needs. Now, for us as Sendekau, we address the income issues through farming. And we believe that everybody has the potential to improve on themselves. And we have proved that that is true. And so we come in with, we start off with some households, and we work with them. We make it clear to them that they have something. What do they have? They have themselves. They're energetic. Right. They are capable of doing something. Do they have land? Some of them, yes. Some of them don't. But they can access, even those who don't have. And that is the major resource. And we come in there and we say, we give them education. 3 types of education. Okay. One is, we know that as Africans we have challenges with social relations. And some of those social relations are the ones responsible for our poverty. Things like social exclusion. Things like self-esteem are lacking. Things like gender prejudices or unequal distribution of resources. They are holding us behind. And so we start for year 1, any project that we do, say 3, 4, 5 years, we start, and you never see any goodies that we bring to any community. We basically are investing in knowledge, changing mindsets.
Empowering them.
And empowering them. So a person who is emotionally empowered and believes in himself and believes in herself is able to spur themselves to prosperity. We are getting feedback. That is where we start from.
Yes, we are getting feedback, and most of the viewers are wondering why Sendekau and why the name and what exactly do you do. But we have a video for you. Maybe we can play it before we continue.
Transform women's lives, especially women's lives. Originally, it wasn't even women's duty to look after cows. But I have watched these cows transform women, and they are a very happy group now. And it has empowered them very much.
When you find people on day 1 and you tell them, can you stand up and talk? It's like, can I stand up? What can I talk? What do I know? But when you've worked with these women and you've lived with them, you've worked with them for 5 years, 4 years, and they're able to tell you things from deep down in their hearts, telling you about how they've been empowered and what they've achieved. And anytime you talk to the women, you see how their cows are doing, you see how they are doing as human beings with their own rights and their own values, and that has been extremely exciting for me.
Sendekau has always worked with groups so that the support network necessary for looking after livestock were already in place. What we didn't realise at the beginning was the power of the friendship and bonds that developed within the group.
Polo yang ay alama narai abu Sendekau na ko ngai te na kile dobobo akopa bongoda kape balar Sendekau bi du igi nakini jo yoda ba ko ikna ay kopara na kimet lodo ajuto ngoda bati keda kutun kadu nyatada ujai kinuska jare na dumula lo ngai te na abunga pipai halaman bui narai edeke wala bui jeki.
I also get almost overwhelmed with the whole situation, because you look at the farmers right from the base and you look at how empowered they get, then they even become potential donors. I feel so happy, and they will always have that urge that if I got, then the other one should also get, and they keep on passing it on, and of course you get the group widening and widening, and the whole community benefiting.
After the excitement of the pass-on, Fred was keen to remind me just how much work there is still to be done in Uganda.
And so far you've been able to touch 1 million lives. Mr. Ramadan Gobi, clearly we've seen the impact in society, but that's just one case. All of these others are failing. Do we say that politics is affecting these initiatives from impacting the communities?
There are a number of factors, of course, which, you know, poverty is multidimensional, as we were saying. Poverty is not necessarily about lack of money, but to politicians, they often look at poverty as an income kind of issue. They would want to use money to fight poverty. But since poverty is multidimensional, also the solution has to be quite multifaceted. It has to be, look for diverse ways of, first of all, diagnosing the disease. Because it's even different in different societies. You'll find that the poverty in northeastern Uganda is not the poverty in central Uganda, it's not the poverty in western Uganda.
True.
But these programs come when they are quite omnibus. They want to use the same solution. It's like one size fits all. And that's wrong. However, in Uganda, there have been those lessons, of course. We shouldn't be here and say there haven't been some improvements here and there. There have been solutions from when you see the way they handled the PAPSCA. That was the first anti-poverty program which President Museveni's government introduced in 1989, when they were being prepared for the SAPs, for the structured adjustment programs.
Correct.
While the bank invested, they said, let us first, organize the villages where, which are going to receive those who are going to be laid off from government. Because the SAPs were about what actually is now being repeated, reforming the structure of government. However, a lot of failure happened in PAPSCA. That the only thing you can remember about PAPSCA, there are those pit latrines which had that call coming out. And in villages, people are calling them PAPSCA latrines. They are the only thing which came out of that program. Then we came to Ntandikwa in 1995, beginning 1996, there, 95, 96. With the Honorable Samba Mugerwa being the minister. Actually, his nickname is Minister Ntandikwa. The Ntandikwa was about cash, give people cash. And it totally failed because they discovered that cash was not the problem. Then in 1997, they started the PIP. The people that did well because it was quite multidimensional in approach. It had 5 pillars, and those pillars touched almost every aspect which was affecting the people of Uganda. And it managed to reduce a bit the poverty. By 2008, when the people was reviewed by a firm from England, the Oxford Policy Firm, they said the following lessons which must be attended to why anti-poverty programs and other government programs fail in Uganda. Most of them were related to policy issues. They talked about the chaotic administrative political relationship, that the politicians were not listening to the technical people who have the knowledge on how to implement things. Politicians want to do their own things. I can tell you, even today, that problem is still there.
So if we divide and separate politics from these initiatives will actually thrive.
Will work, because most of these initiatives are very good initiatives. When you read them on paper, like this program you have read, Operation Wealth Creation. It's a very good idea, which they are doing, like for example, send a cow. They teach someone, give him a cow and so on. But what is on paper is not what is being done. What's being done is just to buy seedlings, take them to the people. Whether you can plant coffee
or not,
they give you coffee. Sometimes they say you must plant.
Yes,
I agree with you, but you see, the thing is, we must recognize one problem in this country. Farmers need knowledge. They need skills in farming. When you give me inputs and you don't teach me, then I don't know how to get the best out of those inputs and the farm.
Correct.
Currently in Uganda, the extension services are not effective for many years now. Of course, efforts are being made to reintroduce the extension directorate back into the ministry, but not yet materialized. But at the moment, farmers are gambling on their own. Just like any trade, if it's carpentry, you need to learn the skill of carpentry. If you want to be a nurse, you have to learn the skill of nursing. Where is the skill of farming taught?
So the gap is skilling the people
farmers
you want
are not
to help.
skilled.
Yes.
I wake up, I get my hoe, go to the garden and I hit the ground. That is all. Very rudimentary. Or Stone Age old.
And one department which is not thought about in Uganda is extension. Agriculture extension. Right now they recruited the agriculture extension workers, but they are not, they paid them, but they are not facilitated to work.
So that's the difference that Send a Cow does.
Right.
We have an extension services structure at the grassroots where we work. And we have 3 categories of extension staff. One is social and gender and social extension workers. We have agriculture extension workers, and where there's livestock, we have livestock extension workers. So, and that's a difference that our interventions make.
So what we have established is, if these government agencies and these initiatives are to work, let's separate the initiatives from politics, one. The other thing is, do not give these people incentives. That's not what they need. They need to be empowered and they need the skills. What other thing do we need, Mr. Ramadan?
I think we need, first of all, also to look into the corruption aspect. I think what has killed this country, even the people who know what should be done and they are well empowered to do it, they are stealing everything. The levels of corruption are too high. Actually, even the Oxford policy firm talked about it, that PIP mainly underperformed because of corruption. So we need also to look into how do we fight corruption. This is an institutional kind of matter, because corruption in Uganda is institutionally kind of, it has become systematic and systemic in nature, that you have to revise on how you are going to restructure the flow of resources, because decentralization we thought would work, it just decentralized the corruption.
Let me ask you, Mr. Nsabaga, how have you been able to mitigate that at Send a Cow in terms of corruption? Because I know you deal with the huge numbers in terms of money. So what structures have you put in place to safeguard that aspect?
No,
corruption.
As a Send a Cow, we have systems, we have internal controls. We don't have room for corruption as an organization.
What are these controls?
We have financial controls. Money, the way money moves in is very clear, and the way money moves out is very clear. Procurement policies and procedures are very well structured and respected. And our sourcing is very transparent. And even the distribution of whatever assistance we give is very transparent. So throughout the whole process, everything falls in place and there's no room for corruption. We recruit highly ethical staff, and so there's respect for resources, and there's high levels of stewardship. So there's nothing that can go wrong.
Mr. Ramadan Gobi, you've interacted with quite a number of government agencies, and this battle of corruption is not like we don't know how to put in place such controls and such structures. Where's the gap coming in? Where is this leakage happening?
I think in the government, that political animal is what is causing problems. The political will to fight the corruption, because the corrupt are known. Someone who steals money. They are, first of all, there are certain procedures, systems which must be passed through to do something.
Correct.
Somebody doesn't do that. They go and they do whatever they want to do with the money, but still they remain around. I've seen people on television, you show them to us, they are in parliament, say park, and they are asked, did you do this? How much did you buy this? And somebody says with open face that I bought a camera, this small camera at 20 million.
Yes.
And the fellow picks a file and he goes. It is where I would think that that fellow shouldn't leave that place.
So the
Should
lack
go
of
to Rosina.
political goodwill to fight corruption.
Yeah.
To prosecute corruption successfully. Yeah. It's not there. Along the way, there are so many leakages and nobody is willing to fix them. So that a case is prosecuted from beginning to the end, and we as citizens are able to see people convicted and punished for that offense. It's not there in this country.
So once we see some people being convicted and punished, then the rest will learn.
Others will learn,
Okay.
and everybody will now care.
Because now you
As
find...
of now, if I steal, I know buy my way around and I'll get off the hook.
Okay, as we come to a close, your last remarks, Mr. Ramadan, in terms of ensuring that these programs thrive.
I think we need to go back on the drawing board. Uganda was doing quite well in the 90s at around 2008 in terms of anti-poverty. Poverty was doing quite well. Why? Because we were pursuing a proper growth strategy. Government, whatever it was doing, it was having that poor person in mind. When I invest 2 billion shillings, how much is likely to trickle down to the poor person? And how do I ensure that it does trickle down there? Today, that's no longer the case. Today, we are so obsessed with getting Uganda to middle income status, no matter who is going there with that Uganda.
Right.
So you find that government is no longer proactive in terms of getting the poor person benefit from the resources which are being budgeted.
Okay.
You find a national budget without any kind of deliberate attempt to get resources trickle down to the poor.
Okay.
That has to be reviewed.
All right. Your remarks, sir.
I would say that Sendekao has a successful model. I would encourage people to come and learn from us. We are very open. We are willing to show people around and take them through our model. It's not that Sendekao model is the only one. There are many models out there. Government and any other stakeholders need to adopt these models and look at them one by one and see which one delivers services to the people and takes people out of poverty. I will say we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are enough good, successful models.
Okay.
And so why do we have enough?
All right.
And like ours, we don't need too many resources. We just need some resources.
Okay.
And we transform lives.
Thank you so much,
forever.
gentlemen, for coming in studios. Economist Ramadan Gobi and Sambaga Patrick, the country director of Send a Cow initiative here in Uganda. Thank you so much for being part of this discussion. The hashtag is Morning at 10 TV. That's on Twitter. You can also stream us live and drop in your comments. NTV Uganda is the pages that's on Facebook and YouTube. So be sure to be part of this discussions. It is your feedback that informs our discussions here. Morning at 10 TV still continues. Up next is Take Note.